Right now on Sports Extra, we didn't think it could get any worse for the Braves, but it has. Another blow to the starting rotation and a weekend sweep by the Orioles has us asking, where did this team go from here? But on the bright note, the Braves have 3 All-Stars this year and what's sure to be an extra special week for Parkview grad Matt Olson. And how about those Hawks, baby? What an offseason for first-year GM Ansi Soleil. How dangerous can the Hawks be?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun going through it. I know that. But I don't know. I can say that's about all I can say about it.
But in the city that you grow up, being the kid, kind of hoping one day that you'd be able to do that, and being able to be there is special.
But I'm super excited. We have a good core of guys, but we're always trying to get better. And kind of like what I mentioned about the optionality we have. You guys are probably sick of me saying that word. But, we got some things that we could do, and we'll see where it goes.
Man, there's always so much to talk about. We're going to get you completely ready for All-Star Week as well. It's going to be another busy week here in the city of Atlanta. Caleb Johnson alongside me. Sports Extra, and it starts right now. Oh, it's about that time, everybody. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Reggie Chatman alongside Caleb Johnson from 92.9 The Game. A really nice holiday weekend. The weather was good outside, but it feels like both of us were working. Did you get a chance to get something to eat, or what was kind of your weekend like?
I was about to say, I did get to enjoy some pool time and, grill a couple of burgers, but I also had to fit in 8 hours of sports radio over the past weekend. So what's another 30 minutes, man?
Yeah, who cares, man? Let's just go on and continue to talk it up. And, I mean, we talk about how hot the weather was outside. It's kind of been the opposite for the Atlanta Braves, who have been really, really struggling. 16 games since that Mets sweep where we thought maybe the season's back on. 5 wins in that span, 3 straight series losses, 4 straight game losses. And the question I ask everybody that comes on this show, and I've been doing it for the last month, Caleb, is the season over for the Atlanta Braves?
I think the closer we are to understanding the season is over, the better we'll all be. Because, yes, this season is a wrap. It's one that this has been one of the worst teams in the National League, if we're all honest with ourselves. And the record backs that up with the fact that this team cannot win games on Sunday. They are 3-11. The worst day of the week that they have record-wise comes on Sunday when they need to be finishing out series, and instead they're losing games, and now they get swept. 4 straight losses for this team as they head into this All-Star break where it's not like they're getting any of their starting pitching back, so it feels like it's going to continue to get worse.
Which stinks because when you go to every season, it feels like the Braves has been kind of World Series or bust. All the pieces were kind of there, and you thought the more guys that come back, if they can continue to do it, they thought they could have a run at it. This season has been a disaster, really, from almost the start. Well, it is from the start.
Absolutely.
What has been the biggest problem, Caleb? Where did it all start?
I think that's kind of the problem, is it isn't just one particular area. It was the fact that you started off with injuries and went 0 for 7, and then your offense has been completely inept all season. You were kind of hoping that you would get some resurgent as of late from a Jurickson Profar, and even before that when Ronald Acuna came back, and Acuna came out really hot right out of the gate. However, in the last week, things have cooled off substantially for Ronnie, as well as a bunch of other guys on this team. And so we saw the Braves do what they said a few days ago that they wouldn't, and give a guy like Acuna some rest, and Mike Harris some rest, and that sort of a thing. It's just we've reached the point that I truly think now got to start giving some of the young guys an opportunity, as you're building towards the future, not now.
And also just kind of enjoy the vibes at the ballpark, because it is still a good experience to go to Truist Park, right? I mean, look, so you mentioned some of the rest that Ronnie got. He did not play on Sunday. Jurickson Profar got the start. He led off, went 0 for 5. He did start his return back to the lineup pretty hot, hit a couple of home runs. So I think it's kind of a balance. Where do you kind of see him right now? Do the fans need to, I guess, forgive him for what he's done? Has he done enough to prove that he should be back in this lineup?
I think Jurickson did the correct thing, and he went and before his first start, he addressed it and said it was all on him, and he is the one to be blamed, and he asked for forgiveness. And I think, okay, as a fan, like, you messed up, but it's not like this entire season was dependent upon how Jurix and Profar played. If you want to take it a step further and look at Alex Anthopoulos making that be the only big move this team did this offseason, yeah, you can blame Alex. Jurickson didn't help it with his whole suspension situation, but ever since he did come back, yeah, we saw some pop from him, 2 home runs in his first 2 games. And then the joke started flying that, oh, Tim Hires must have gotten a hold of him because just like everyone else on this, up and down the lineup, that Profar has cooled off.
Yeah, it's really been a tough season offensively. And you look at also all the injuries in the pitching rotation. I mean, that was a busy day. The day that Profar returned was also the day that we got that alert and that really long PR message. They kind of buried it at the bottom.
Buried the lead for sure.
Spencer Schwellenbach, his elbow exploded. Unfortunately for him, we don't know when he's going to be back, a broken elbow. I mean, what was your first reaction when you finally made it to the bottom of that sheet and saw that, yeah, one of your best starters is gone?
I remember being out and seeing that and reading through the first paragraphs and thinking, okay, yeah, this is what I expected. And then, as you said, they buried the lead. They put that down at the bottom of Spencer Schwellenbach literally pitched so hard that he broke his elbow. Now, I have broken an elbow myself. I had a situation where me and some concrete did not gel so well. And I can tell you that is an excruciatingly painful injury to be dealing with. And I can only imagine it happened to my left hand.
Yeah.
And so that's my non-dominant hand. For it to happen to Schwellenbach to his pitching arm, I mean, they say he can come back in September, but at that point, is it really worth it? Or is it better off for you to be giving your young pitching rotation, some of those guys in the minor league, some opportunities, because these games simply don't matter at this point, it feels.
I understand. Look, when you say the season's over and stuff like that happens, that might actually be the best. Well, look, because here's the deal, though. The good news is if you're a Braves fan, you still have Ronald Acuna Jr., right? He's a lot of fun to watch play, one of the best baseball players on the entire planet, an all-star starter during this upcoming All-Star game and All-Star weekend. He's going to be in the Home Run Derby. How big do you think it is for him to be able to bring some life and some fun to this team during a special weekend here in the city?
It's funny, Reggie. We actually called for him to, come on, fans, let's step up and get him voted into the All-Star game as a starter.
Can we get credit for that?
I was just about to say, he went from being 6th amongst votes to 1st in the outfield when he ultimately got selected. I think the other really cool part of this is Matt Olson getting included as well, because whereas Braves fans constantly talk about the fact that Matt Olson is no Freddie Freeman, well, yeah, he just so happens to be the 2nd best first baseman in all of the National League. And that's unfortunately not as good as Freddie Freeman. So that's kind of the tough situation there. But when it comes to Acuna, I just think the excitement that he brings the game is this is the perfect opportunity on the national stage at the All-Star game. You can't say either that the Home Run Derby messed up his swing because he hasn't exactly been hitting well into the All-Star game. So swing away, Ronnie. I just want to see him hit bombs.
I think the cool thing about the 3 guys that the Braves got into the All-Star game is all of them had to overcome something, whether it was Ronaldo not playing the first part of the season, and then with both Chris Sale and Matt Olson really starting and struggling at the beginning of the year. I mean, Olson was hitting .230 the first month of the year. Now he's batting .271. He leads the team in home runs. He leads all of baseball in outs above average. I mean, what does it say about his ability to shake back from a really, really tough start and try to keep his team in it?
Yeah, I think, honestly, this doesn't surprise me at the least bit when it comes to Olson, because his personality, his performance on the field, it's all about a very measured approach to everything that he does. And so you know that he wasn't going to continue to struggle as poorly as he was to start the year. For him to kind of find his footing, and as I mentioned, all of the statistics kind of back up the fact that he is the 2nd best first baseman in the National League. And for him to get this opportunity at home where he is a homegrown Georgia guy, and so as much fun as it is to see Ronnie in this thing, to see a guy from here get to be in front of his family and his friends on the big stage, I think it's an incredible opportunity.
It's going to be awesome. Unfortunately, no Chris Sale. He did get voted in, but his ribs, that's going to keep you from being able to pitch both in the All-Star game and the rest of what seems to be a long time this season. Are you going to be at the games? Are you going to be at anything this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go out to the Derby and go out to the All-Star game as well. I have no clue what my bosses plan on on having me do otherwise, but any opportunity to be around this level of greatness. I'm actually excited about one particular guy, Cal Raleigh,
Yes,
because
Big Dumper.
Big Dumper.
Yep.
I thought that's the most incredible nickname ever, but then I recently learned out that Cal is short for Caleb. And I was like, all right, there we go. I got another reason to root for this guy because, we share a name, and so maybe he can bring some of that greatness and it'll rub off when I get the opportunity to talk to him.
That's going to be awesome. I'm super, super excited for this week. Also really excited about what the Hawks have been doing, man. We're talking about it upcoming next after this next break. Ansi Saleh is a superstar. Their new GM getting this team right. We're talking about all the moves he's made after the break. Welcome back to Sports Action, everybody. I'm Reggie Chatman, Caleb Johnson alongside me as our podcast continues here on television. It's basically what we love doing, and we get to do it in front of you. So one of the things we love to see is the Hawks playing well or even doing things in the offseason that help them play better throughout the season. Ansi Saleh has been an absolute star. The GM in his first year with the Hawks has made a whole bunch of moves, a lot of them becoming official today. And the question I have for you to start this block, is it time to build the Ansi Saleh statue in front of the facility? Because, he's really made some moves.
Let's go and do it, because I think the weird thing about all of this is when the national media has jumped on and said, hey, we think this guy is a genius. As someone who has covered this Hawks team for the past few years, you go, wait. Like, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this much love and support. But everybody from Bill Simmons to Shams Charania is saying that everything that the Hawks have been doing this offseason have been incredibly smart. It feels like Ansi is finally putting together a team around Trey that you upgrade defensively and you add some shooters. And it's like, thank you. Finally, this team can add pieces and stop the blame of Trae Young for everything that he's not good at and give him those things kind of around him to build this out.
It's funny because I remember seeing a tweet after all the moves were made. Somebody was like, is that a graphic with the odds for the Hawks to be a championship contender? Yeah. They went from, I think, plus 12,000 to plus 5,000 and offered all these massive moves. And so I think the question is we've talked about the Kristaps Porzingis deal already. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to be coming technically back to this team.
Yeah.
Break that down for us. But what does he bring to this team as a major offseason addition?
Yeah, it's really cool. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the cousin of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is someone that adds shooting to this team, which they desperately needed as far as three-point shooting, but also someone who can handle on-ball defending. Everything that we saw from Dyson Daniels last year, really incredible stuff, but he can't do it alone. And so the fact that Nickeil Alexander-Walker, yes, comes back to Atlanta because he was traded in 2019. Taurean Prince was sent to the Brooklyn Nets for the pick that would become Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but the Hawks took that and flipped it into DeAndre Hunter, and now Nah comes back to Atlanta after DeAndre Hunter's time has ended, but he brings so much floor spacing and just an additional piece to this team off the bench that is going to continue to make them better. Like, the best teams in the NBA have depth. This helps them with that.
It's funny because it feels like when you watch that series with the Timberwolves, man, it felt like he was a really large piece of their success. So that's a big loss for them, a major gain for the Hawks. And speaking of other gains, Luke Kennard is also joining this team on a one-year deal. One of the best shooters in the association over the last couple of years. It feels like this is a team that's been looking for shooting for years now. How big is his fit to this team?
Yeah, it's nice for the Hawks to go out and not essentially have a tight budget. Like a lot of fans have kind of talked about the fact that, Luke Kennard is just another Garrison Matthews. But the difference is that Luke Kennard has been the best three-point shooter over the last couple of seasons. 45%, and he's shooting about 9.9 shots per 100 possessions. That's a very nerdy way of saying he shoots the three a lot and he knocks it down a lot. He's also someone who can handle the rock, and so when Trey needs to come off the floor, because please, I never want to see Luke Kennard and Trae Young on the floor at the same time because there are some defensive liabilities there.
Okay.
But he can handle the rock in place of Trey and kind of give that floor spacing ability and hit some shots.
Another thing that this team have been looking for, the non-Trey minutes are things that you were hoping that would get a little better. Now, speaking of Trey, we got to give him some credit here. Shams Charania from ESPN reported that Trey actually reached out to both of those guys. And we mentioned earlier, maybe Trey gets a bad rap on a lot of different things. The outside media tries to paint this picture. He went out there and reached out to these guys to try and get them to come to Atlanta. How much credit should we be giving him, and what does it say about his commitment to this team?
I mean, I think, look, if LeBron James gets credit for all of the moves that the Lakers or whatever team LeBron's been on in the past for, them going out and doing that. Why doesn't Trey get the same amount of love for helping bring in Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard? Now, it helps the fact that Trey's agent over at CAA is the same agent of Luke Kennard and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So there's a little bit of a connection there. It's a simple fact of he can just text his agent and say, hey, let me get their numbers and reach out and make the deal. But this is also further proving of bringing on Ansi Soleil. He wants to build a team that people want to join because he knows the city of Atlanta is enticing enough for NBA players to want to come here, but you've got to build a team that players want to join, and you're starting to see that slowly start to build in the early days of Ansi's career.
The team is going to look different going forward. I mean, it feels like the end of an era. Clint Capella is no longer on this roster. He was part of that 17 deal that sent everybody everywhere, but it was the big Kevin Durant trade. Clint's going to be going to the Houston Rockets with Kevin Durant. When you think back on Clint Capella's career and the time that he had and all these moments that he had with Trae Young, what are you going to remember most about his time here in Atlanta?
I mean, it's for sure going to be 2021 because that was when the Hawks were at their best, and that's when the pick and roll that Trae and Clint would run with one another, and then the lobs that Trae would throw to Clint, and he's putting it down. Like those, especially through the Knicks series, through the Sixers series, were just so memorable. And the fact that Clint kind of carried on Dikembe Mutombo's no, and had the finger wag. Like that is just some of the most fun memories that I'll have of this team, especially because that was when I was kind of coming on the scene covering the team, and I was like, oh, they're just going to be great like this forever, right? And it's like, oh, okay, no, we got to work our way back there. But Clint was such a great piece of all of that, and it didn't really work so well at the end of it, but it's great that you could kind of send him on back to Houston where he played previously, and in return you get some a pick swap, second rounders, and then you also welcome David Roddy back to the team. So a guy that Hawks fans are pretty familiar with that was a bit frustrating at times comes back on a two-way deal this time and can help the Hawks out in that way.
It's going to be. It's funny. I was looking at old scripts as we were looking for video. I had written something to the effect of the Trae Young and Clint Capella lob game is going to outlive us all. Unfortunately, we have outlived it.
Not quite so much.
Yeah, not so much. All righty, Caleb, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate your time. We'll be seeing you all week. And, of course, listen to all your stuff on 92.9 The Game. All right, coming up, All-Star festivities get underway this week in the A. We're getting you ready for all things All-Star with Paul Bird after the break. Welcome back to Sports Extra, everybody. I'm Reggie Chatman. We have officially made it to All-Star Week with the eyes of the baseball world and all of its stars set to descend upon the city of Atlanta. I caught up with Braves legend Paul Bird this week to talk all things Midsummer's Classic. Paul, we are headed to MLB All-Star Week, an exciting time. It's a game that hasn't been here in a very long time. As somebody that's covered the team, that's been in this area and pitched in an All-Star game in your career, how is exciting for it to be back here in the city?
Well, I've lived here. I loved the Braves as a kid. Now playing for the Braves and broadcasting for them, to have the All-Star game back here for these fans, they deserve it. I'm so excited. I want to show the country Truist Park. I want them to experience the Battery, how loud it gets here.
You mentioned just showing the world what this stadium is like and the Battery and everything like that. I think back to that World Series run a couple years ago where there was so much conversation about this ballpark and the Battery, and since then it's even gotten bigger and better. Why do you think that this stadium and this area is the perfect place to hold a Major League Baseball All-Star game?
We've always been a baseball town. We've always loved baseball. And when I mentioned some of the players like Shohei Ohtani, he's done things that nobody's ever done before. He's playing both sides of the field, both sides of the ball, and we just don't see that anymore on that level. And then Ronnie being voted in as a starter, how cool is that, man? So we're just so excited. He was like a little kid telling us he wants to represent our town in the right way, and the year hasn't gone this well for the Braves or what we've expected, but it's time to put all that aside and show the world what this town of Atlanta is about, what we have out on the field, and what we can do.
You haven't done it on a stage like this a long time, but you had the opportunity to do it in an All-Star game back in 1999. What was that experience like? And for most people that haven't had the opportunity to get on a stage like that, how special is it for not just the players, but just all the fanfare that's around it?
There's nothing like it, and I actually warmed up in the Fenway Park bullpen to come in and back everybody in case we had to go long innings. And seeing, Pedro get out there and start, the McGuires, the Sosas, Ken Griffey Juniors, you get a chance to see the players that, before interleague play you didn't get to see, but now that we have interleague, you don't get to see them as much you would want. Like, Trout played here a few days ago, and we didn't see Mike Trout since 2016, I believe. So to see some great players play that you don't normally get to see all on the field at the same time, that's a really, really special thing. And it's not like once the All-Star game comes to Atlanta, they get it 2 or 3 years from now. Yeah, wait. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come here and watch the game and see one of the greatest spectacles, I believe, in all of sports.
It's going to be so much fun. My last question for you is a quick one. Does Ronald Acuna Jr. win the Home Run Derby this year, and why?
I think he does, because it's in Atlanta and he's going to be locked in. I think he has something to prove. I'm so proud of him for making this team after the injury and the knee and coming back and hitting 350 right off the bat. He didn't need any time to settle in, and he was on a mission. So I think he's going to be on that same mission when he goes out and participates in the All-Star game. I think he's going to hit 496 feet.
Okay.
That's my call. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the over. He's going to hit 500.
Nice, I like it.
It's going to be right between the Hank Aaron Terrace all the way to the deep part of the ballpark. That's what I want to see.
Dinner.
On me. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it, man. All right, final block of Sports Extra. I'm Reggie Chatman. It is officially All-Star Week. What an incredible opportunity for our city to be able to represent baseball and showcase it on its biggest stage. I'm really excited to be able to help cover a lot of this. As 11 Live, we have you covered all week long. I'll be at the HBCU Swingman Classic on Friday before I go to the Futures game on Saturday. Maria Martin will be back this week, and she'll be hosting this show from the Battery on Sunday. It's going to be so much fun. 11 Live, we have you covered all week long. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Have a fantastic week.